Hey everybody, welcome to Sports Talk. This is our special post-game edition of Lakers. Want to welcome those that are watching on the TNT simulcast, Spectrum Sportsnet. I know the game is still on the channel. 38 seconds left. Looks like this is going to be in the books, and unless something happens, the Lakers are going to be eliminated. 4-1. Timberwolves will wait the winner of the Warriors Rockets, which we'll talk about in a little bit. Houston just had won earlier tonight to stay alive. Big game by Houston, but tough, tough way to end the season for the Lakers. The third seed. They brought in Luka Doncic. They went on a streak. Bearing something happens here, this game's over. As we look at the rest of the Western Conference, Oklahoma has already advanced. They swept Memphis. They wait the winner of the Nuggets Clippers matchup, which is tomorrow. Clippers are down 3-2. Will try to win to force a game 7, and then of course, the Warriors and Rockets. That one's still in undecided as play resumes, and we'll take a live look inside crypto.com. LeBron James fell again. He's hurt. Lakers got within two. This was a 2-point game, a 1-point game. They led for a couple minutes, but again, Minnesota just proved to be tough. And LeBron gets a quick layoff, a 6-point game, but they're gonna have to foul or do something here because they're running out of time. And again, Minnesota with the ball movement, a lot of time going off the clock. I'm not sure why they're not fouling. They lost 12 seconds, and guess to say this one's pretty much over for the Lakers. And Julius Randle, the ex-Laker, how fitting this is for him. He's going to take out his old team. They're going to take out the 3 seed. The 3 seed is going to go out. The 2 seed's in danger of going out. So a lot of questions now for this Laker team. Who'll be back next year? There's been rumors about Kevin Durant possibly coming to LA. There's other rumors about other players coming to LA. And then also LeBron James is this it for him? And free throws made, miss a second, and they're just gonna play it out. And the 6 seed Minnesota Timberwolves are going to knock out the 3 seeded Los Angeles Lakers. The Lakers were a favorite to win this series, and now they're going to take out the 3rd seed and move on. The 3rd time in their franchise history they won in the first round. They reached the West Finals in 2004, which they lost to the Lakers. And their magical run last year, and this one's in the books. Minnesota wins 4-1, 103-106. Minnesota now waits the winner of the Rockets Warriors series, which is going to extend by a game. You look at the Timberwolves, what a great squad they had, what great players they had. Austin Reeves gave it his all. Luka Doncic played with a bad back in the second half. He gave it his all. As we take a look at the standings now again, Oklahoma's moved on. Now Minnesota's moved on. And now they wait the winner of tomorrow's matchup. Game 6 tomorrow with the Clippers on TNT here in LA. They'll try to force a game 7 back in Denver, and then Houston will try to force a game 7. But we see LeBron James. Will this be the final time he walks that tunnel as an active NBA player? As the season's over for at least one of the LA teams. It's a shame that the high-powered Lakers, who I thought they were going to win this series, I made a prediction a couple of weeks ago on the show that the Lakers were going to win this, but um, wasn't meant to be. Again, we want to thank the fans for their continued support throughout the season. As it's a final now, 103-96. We're going to go ahead and pause for 30 seconds, and then we'll get the post-game show kicking off here. You're listening to Sports Talk, Lakers post-game show. Hello, everybody, and welcome to this special edition of Sports Talk Live. This is the post-game wrap-up. Game 5 of the first round is in the books, and this series is in the books. The Minnesota Timberwolves have knocked out the 3-seeded Los Angeles Lakers 103-96 in a close game in which the Lakers were pretty much beat up and banged up, and it really caught up to them. Now Minnesota waits the winner of the Warriors and Rockets matchup, which Houston won earlier tonight. I want to welcome my partner Jesus, who's on here. Partner, I know it's been a while, but very disappointing night here tonight in Los Angeles.
Yeah, disappointing loss for the Lakers as they get eliminated from the 2025 playoffs, and they lose the series 4-1.
Yeah, as mentioned, we were live before the game ended, but as I was saying, a very disappointing end to this promising season. I mean, we look at maybe some of the positives. I mean, they brought in Luka Doncic in the trade. I think that's what helped spark that playoff run, but unfortunately, it just pretty much came to an end here at the hands of a 6-seeded Timberwolves team who didn't play like the 6-seeded team. They played like they were one of the top contenders in the Western Conference.
Yeah, coming into the series, everybody thought we were gonna see LeBron, Luka, how they were gonna do in the series, but unfortunately, the Lakers lost in 5 games in the first round for the second straight season. This is a massive disappointing because they had 50 games and were number 3rd this year in the standings, but internally expectations were much higher than this.
Well,
Most definitely.
you look at their record this season, Carter. They had the best home record. They had like the 3rd best record or the 6th best record in the NBA when it comes to home games. They were 34-10 at home this season. You would think that home court advantage would be the best thing, but when they got beat that first game badly, I knew it was going to be they were going to get in trouble. We just didn't know how good Minnesota was until we saw it in game 1. Everyone figured game 1 was a fluke because the Lakers turned around and kind of kept them in check in game 2. But then, I think the critical moment of the series was games 3 and 4. Game 3, they played. I have to give them credit too because they played hard. Game 3, they played hard. Luka Doncic had a stomach virus. He played the whole game. Wasn't himself, but they still could have won that game. And then you look at the collapse in game 4 where they were up 10. I'll tell you this, the one stat that killed the Lakers here, partner, the fourth quarter. Every game in this series in the fourth quarter, the Lakers have somehow stumbled with the exception of game 2. But every other game in this series, the fourth quarter, Minnesota just had their numbers. And you look at it on paper, again, this is another quarter where they had the numbers. But here's the thing. In this game, it was neck and neck. It was neck and neck the entire fourth quarter until the last 2 minutes. I believe when Finney Smith fouled out, that's when the Lakers got doomed because after that, they couldn't do nothing right after that.
Yeah, I believe that, but I think a major factor in the fourth quarter was LeBron 0 points until those last couple minutes. LeBron had 0 points, and Luka seemed like hobbled after that injury in the first quarter of his back. So and the Lakers pretty much looked tired in that fourth quarter. But I do give you props because there was a momentum change when Finney Smith got his sixth foul because when he was on the court they were keeping it close and were fighting back.
And he was the one that got the Lakers a lead. They did not lead this entire game. They trailed as much as 14, and they led in the third quarter. Actually, excuse me, in the fourth quarter they started leading. So he was the one that gave the Lakers that lead, and he was the one that kept them intact. But when he fouled out, that's when it was over. I mean, even the ceiling, the final nail in the coffin was that 6-0 run in the last 2 minutes. That's when the Lakers started looking tired. That's when where they got did in. I mean, you can see other ways of it, but to me, the last that 6-0 run was what sealed it because Minnesota was hungry. They were going for the kill. They went for the kill, and they got the kill.
Yeah, Minnesota looked good out there, especially Rudy Gobert this game, who dominated the game in which this is his first game out of the 5 games in which he had a 20-20 type of game, which Lakers this season always had a problem in the center court and the rebounds and second chance. And then the playoffs, it showed out why that key role needed to be filled. So that Mark Williams trade could be, I believe, caused them a big upset. Because that center position was weird because JJ Redick mentioned before the game he was not going to play Jackson Hayes at all, 0 minutes, and he played Maxi Kleber, who came back from surgery and hasn't even practiced. So that was a weird move by JJ. But
Here's a stat that you brought this up. Um, the percentage when they had Luka Doncic on the floor this season, they won 57% of their games. Here's the interesting thought: without him, they won almost 60% of their games. So I don't know if if that would have made a difference or not, but to me, I think having number 77 is what helped this team, you know, keep the boat sailing because we recall a couple of weeks ago when they had that injured bug, LeBron, Reeves, you know, Rui Hakamura, everyone else that got hurt on that team. He kept that team he carried that team during that losing streak. So I mean, to me that doesn't matter. I see him as a main player, and the Lakers, and I believe there was a rumor that he did sign an extension, so he will be back next year. But
yeah,
let me tell you this: we talked about Dallas. We talked about Dallas with the trade. We talked about how bad it went for them. Is it safe to say that this move went bad for the Lakers because they got bounced?
that's a tough one. It could be because you know if Anthony Davis was healthy, well, he was healthy until he got injured in Dallas. I feel like Lakers. Oh no, that's a tough one, partner. It's hard to predict what would have happened.
Well, let's go over some points real quick. I want to give my point on this, and I'll get your points because you put out some interesting points here on the chat. So here's the thing. Let's go back 5 years ago, the bubble season. We had AD, we had Dwight Howard, we had Javale, and we had DeMarcus. They won the championship in 6 games.
Right.
You look at 5 years later, we had Anthony Davis. I believe Anthony Davis was a key factor of this team
Yeah.
next to LeBron James. This was LeBron's, enforcer. This is LeBron's right hand man. And, I'll tell you this, the injuries can play a part of this game. I can understand why the Lakers decided to move on from Anthony Davis because they felt that the injury he was starting to be a liability because he was getting hurt a lot. But
Yeah.
let me ask you this question though. Let's go back to this trade. Let's go back to the trade that got rescinded. that they were bringing a center to the Lakers. We all remember that trade. It got rescinded because he failed his physical, apparently.
Hmm.
How much of a huge loss that was now looking between now that the playoffs run is over and back then when they try to make the move.
And I think that was big because even Mark Williams tweeted out an emoji on Twitter 10 minutes ago with a smile on his face because the Lakers did not accept them because of their training staff who supposedly thought Mark Williams had a serious injury that would bother him for the rest of his career. But unfortunately, it got rescinded, and here we are, Lakers getting beat in that center position, out rebound mostly every game, offensive rebounds, second chance points, and yeah,
Yeah, would you say it's safe to say that this move bit the Lakers in the ass?
I believe
I'm
so.
gonna say it bit him in the ass big time.
Yeah, I believe so. That center position was is very key. And you know how Lakers had Anthony Davis in the past couple of years, so there was the first time without a center was it did not help them at all.
No, it didn't. Even during that win streak, it didn't because we saw a huge flaw in that system. They were trying to do some sort of a triangle offense that Phil Jackson had in LA. You need a center for the triangle offense, and obviously they didn't. So big loss for the Los Angeles Lakers. As we take a look at some stats here, let's take a look at this. Let's take a look at this factor here. So, um, how about Rudy Gobert broke the record tonight, career high. Players in the NBA with 25 points, 25 rebounds, and more than 2 blocks in a series
Wow.
closing game. You look at the list here. Gobert tonight. We remember Shaq from the Dynasty, Kevin Garnett when he won the title, and a lot of these guys on here are former champions. So how great is it for him to like make this list, knowing that he's up there with players that won championships.
Yeah, that list is a hell of a list of great players who all won championships, Hall of Famers in that list, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Hakeem Olajuwon, and Charles Barkley. You can't forget Tim Duncan. Wow, it's just an impressive performance by Rudy Gobert, in which I think he needed to do that every game and take advantage, in which he did tonight, and hopefully he keeps doing that the rest of the playoff.
Yeah, you look at the list here: Rudy Gobert, Shaq, Kevin Garnett, Tim Duncan, Charles Barkley, Hakeem Olajuwon, Moses Malone, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. That's got to be a hell of a list. And bravo for Rudy Gobert. I think he was the MVP of this series. Um, but again, as a Laker fan, disappointing into this season. We look at a couple of months ago, this team was on top. This team was in second place. Thought they could beat Oklahoma City and thought they could make a playoff run, championship run. They thought they had everything, but it just blew out here tonight. And I'll close out this part with your saying, partner. They need bigs, and it seriously came at a great cost as another first round exit for the Los Angeles Lakers. And now the question now begins as what's next? Again, we want to welcome everyone that just joined us from TNT Spectrum watching the game. This is a live edition of Sports Talk postgame show. This is game 5 of the Western Conference first round matchup. Lakers lose 103-96, eliminated in 5 games. As we mentioned, now we're now going into the portion of what happens next. Um, Partner, you said it was time to move on from LeBron. What do you think the
Let me
Lakers need to do
let me tell
next?
you, not what I really think is Lakers are gonna rerun it with the same squad they have, especially with Luka. You know, he came mid-season, but all season to work together with LeBron one more year. I believe could be his last year, LeBron. So they rerun it, but this time they get a couple centers that would fill that hole in which they pretty much got torn apart this whole season after that Anthony Davis trade. So I believe that's my prediction for the Lakers. They run it back with Luka, LeBron, but they fill that center position and hopefully rerun it back to the playoffs.
Well, now if you're JJ Redick, partner, and I believe he's speaking to the media, so we'll try to get a little bit of a clip for you in a little bit here from our production staff. If you're JJ Redick, what do you do? What do you do to convince LeBron? Hey, this sucks. I know how you feel. We felt like we had it. We didn't. Um, what do I got to do to at least bring you for just one more rodeo, as Peyton Manning would say, his one more rodeo. I mean, because I'm gonna tell you right now, the way he was walking off the court, I felt like this was a live rodeo for him. You know, he's put in a lot of work this season. He's worked very hard to keep his body in shape, and what we see tonight was just pretty much the breakdown of being 40. And I just don't know if he has it in for him to play another season, another 80 plus game season. I mean, he missed time this season. So it's like, you wonder, does he have enough in the tank for one more round? And that's something that, um, we have to figure out, or something JJ Redd is going to have to go to the bargaining table and try to convince LeBron to, like, hey, man, I know you got 1 year left. Like, let's come finish it. Finish it. No extensions, nothing. This is it. So, um,
Yeah, I believe LeBron had a hell of a year. I think he should be proud of himself of what he did this year, in which he's going to bounce back. A legend, uh, a GOAT of this generation to lose and retire. I can't see that happening. So I could for sure see him doing it back, and especially JJ Redick. You know, he's a rookie coach. It was a rookie coach his first year, and he did what people didn't think he would do with LeBron. Yeah, they got Luca, but gotta give him props. But rerun.
I know JJ Redick spoke to the team after the game, and I'm pretty sure there's a lot of frustrating faces there. So we're going to read a statement that he said to the team after the game. And it says the following. It says, quote, there's always a mix of disappointment and gratitude. Certainly disappointment, and not something I ever envisioned with this team, having to go in and talk to them after losing in the first round. But give Minnesota a lot of credit. They're a really good basketball team. I think our guys played hard enough and did all the right things. We tried to make it work with what we had and came up short. End quote. And that was from Coach JJ Redick following the game, following the address of his team in this 5 game series that was won by the Timberwolves tonight. Again, Lakers eliminated in the first round for the third year in a row. And I want to go back to JJ Redick's statement. Yeah, give Minnesota credit, partner. They're a hell of a team. No one, I mean, I think a lot of us, even the analysts, really underestimated how good this basketball team is. Remember, this team made the finals, the conference finals last year.
Yeah, and I believe Luca took him out last year
Yeah,
by
he was.
himself
Yeah,
with
they
him.
played in the. He played this team in the Western Conference Finals when he was a member of the Dallas Mavericks.
You think Nico Harrison is laughing at this moment?
I think Anthony Davis has a
Nico
smile
Harrison?
on his face. I think maybe the Dallas Maverick fans have a smile on their face, not with Luka Doncic, but the fact that the Lakers were pretty much the talk of the town when this trade happened, when they were being talked about being one of the best teams. So I mean, it's just I'll tell you right now, partner, I'm very speechless. I'm just gonna say I'm very speechless about this.
Yeah, it's tough for Laker fans, even the whole league because we were expecting a whole great series by Luka and LeBron, one of the best athletes and basketball players overall in the whole NBA, in the whole NBA league. So, yeah, you got to give Minnesota props for sure. They played physical out there. They played their hearts out there. They were the underdogs, and they proved Lakers and the NBA and the whole world. But we'll see what the Lakers could come back and do this offseason. It's still early, but we'll see.
Yeah, so it's a very disappointing loss here for the Lakers, and again, there's going to be a lot of talk in the next few days. I'll tell you right now that the talks are going to begin about whether um, Luca, I'm sorry, LeBron James will come back. As we kind of break down this game, courtesy of Spectrum Sportsnet. So the highlights here show Luka Doncic was playing well in the second quarter, but near the end of the half is when he had that injury.
Yeah, I think that was a crucial point as well in the game. Even though Luca turned up in the second half, but he was just hobbling off and down the court, and Minnesota were taking advantage of that. And because he was in foul trouble, and Minnesota were in foul trouble as well, the whole game with Julius Randle, McDaniels, and many of their bench players came in and many of their bench players came in and contributed. And you can't forget about Gobert. He just had a great game all night.
As we take a look at the replay here, partner, what do you think? Clean foul or was that dirty?
Which,
Or that's just a case of just playing basketball?
which are you talking
Well, Luca went into the locker room at halftime. He came back. He came back out. The Lakers were trailing by 10. Start of the third quarter, LeBron James starts it off, but Minnesota answers. Later on, third quarter, a 9-point game. Luka Doncic goes for a three. You notice, partner, he's wobbling, but he makes it. He gets the Lakers within 6. Now it's within 7, and here's LeBron. A push-off shove. He gets the basket and the foul, but he misses the free throw. Later on, it's still a 7-point game, and Hakimura gets them within 4. How about that? They got within 4, partner.
Yeah, Hachimura with a great game that kept the Lakers fighting.
So Minnesota just kept answering back, partner, and then moments later, Luka Doncic hits a three from the corner, gets them within 2. This is where I thought the momentum was shifting for the Lakers.
Yeah, they were coming back, and unfortunately, they just
They just fell short. Yeah, later on, third quarter, Luka with the alley oop to Hakimura with the dunk. A 2-point game again. Though we thought the Lakers were gonna have the momentum because they were playing close. Here in the 30, you see Finney Smith gets them the lead for the first time after trailing as much as 14. He had a good game tonight. He hit shots where it counted the most. And, you know, fourth quarter, it's a 2-point game, and Hakimura again, partner, inside, post up, gets the shot, ties the game. This is where I thought the Lakers could make a difference.
yeah, Laker fans on their feet, hoping for that comeback fourth quarter win.
You check out Austin Reeves' partner from downtown. He's fired up. Said a
Yeah,
couple words we're not going to repeat though, but later on it's a 1-point game. Look at Doncic, just his shots were weird though, but still coming in and again gets the Lakers a 1-point lead. Had a hand in his face too. And this is
yeah,
where
big Luca with the injury, still making big shots on the offensive side.
but again, Goldberg, at the right place at the right time. Minnesota goes up by 3, and here's where it just gets worse, partner. Again, Goldberg, another shot. It's now a 5-point game. Lakers just can't do nothing. Julius Randle, the ex-Laker. How about that
Yeah,
against the team?
Julius Randle had a great series versus his ex team.
LeBron not going down without a fight, though, partner. He hits a three from the corner. It's a 2-point game. But again, Minnesota responds to the Lakers.
Minnesota fighting every second.
Luka Doncic tries to answer back, but he misses. But here's where Minnesota starts getting hot. See the layup, partner, go up by 6. It's like they cut it to 3 though, but again, every time the Lakers try to answer back, Minnesota has an answer for themselves. The downtown shot that pretty much daggered it right there, partner. Lakers just could not recover after that. Minnesota went on a 6-0 run in those final minutes, and you see right there, the final score 103-96. Rudy Gobert, partner, 27 points, uh, double-double, 24 rebounds and 2 blocks. Julius Randle, the ex-Laker, 23 points, 5 rebounds. Anthony Edwards, he had a double-double, 15 points, 11 rebounds. As you see, the Timberwolves, their field goal, their 3-point shot really struggled tonight. It's not like we seen in games 1 and 2, but it was pretty bad here. Meanwhile, for the Lakers, Luka Doncic, 28 points, 1 assist shy of a double-double. Hakimura, who had a great game, he actually stepped up even with the face mask. 23 points, 4 rebounds, and LeBron James, 22 points. But again, not much in the fourth quarter, and their 3-point field goal, 11 out of 37, and here's the key factor, partner, that sealed the Lakers. The points in the paint. 56-40.
Wow. I think most of those points because of Rudy Gobert, and the rest were just key factors by Anthony Edwards.
And after the game, Coach Redick was questioned about, or his decision of not playing the center. And here's what JJ Redick said. He said, the Lakers couldn't. He said, "quote, we couldn't score, so there had to be some sort of trade-off." Not sure if that was the right move, but if you look at that trade-off, it didn't really do well for them because they got outbounded and they got outposted, as we see here in the highlights. So not sure what to say about that one, partner. Meanwhile, Austin Reeves, he shared what he said after the game. We'll read it here on the show. Quote, obviously this wasn't our expectation at all, but honestly, as a group, we just didn't play well enough to beat them. End quote. I'll tell you right now, that game 1, you get your ass kicked. So I don't know about that.
No, yeah, I agree, and I think Austin Reeves had a horrible series. I know this is he's not it's his second, third year in the NBA, but I think they showed up. He had an off playoff series this year.
Yeah, and also Jackson Hayes, he actually made a statement about not playing tonight, and here's the statement. He says, quote, coaches told me to stay ready, that they're going to try other things out. That's the coach's decision, and I respect it. Just doesn't feel real that the season's over. I mean, talk about telling the guy to get ready, but I mean, I feel like you're giving the guy false hopes here, though, or you gave the guy false hopes.
Yeah, it was weird not him playing, because he would have at least got a couple of rebounds, because they had a tough time controlling Rudy Gobert. But Jackson Hayes did had a great season after the Luka trade. He contributed a lot in the season, but in the playoffs, the Minnesota just took advantage.
And then Austin Reeves went on to mention about the fourth quarter, partner. Here's what he said. He says, quote, obviously this wasn't our expectation or our goal as a group. We just didn't play good enough to beat Minnesota. That's really it. We got an interesting comment here. I'll read it here. Rudy had 24 rebounds tonight. That's almost disrespectful to Kobe. Go find a effing center. I'm not going to repeat what that word means, but okay. Very agreeable there. And here's another stat: 68 missed 3-pointers total, both shots total in the game. Someone should have a career night rebounding. Of course, it isn't the Lakers. Yeah,
Partner, that's insane. That's an insane stat.
Yeah, that's embarrassing.
Both teams 68 missed 3-pointers, and of course the Lakers couldn't get the rebound. Most of them were by the Minnesota Timberwolves.
Yeah, I mean that's what wheels my mouth, partner. as we were going through the highlights, even at the end, we gave that stat 7 out of 47 in threes. That means they were just shooting threes like it was practice.
Yeah, that's not that to me seems like the Lakers were just tired out there. They weren't fighting. They weren't fighting in the paint. They were just chucking it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what to say about that one, partner, but I mean, it is what it is, and um, we're just now it's the off season now, so I'm sure a lot of those players are going to be really in a bad mood tomorrow when they got to clean out their lockers and then start giving those exit interviews.
Yes, and the exit interviews are gonna be tough for them. They already started to begin. Some players tonight, but I think the key players tomorrow will be Luka, maybe LeBron. Who knows? As a professional.
Well, per NBA rules, they have to be available, otherwise they get a fine. So I don't know if those guys want to face a money deduction on their final paychecks. Because it's gonna be but I'll tell you right now, as a Laker fan, Laker Nation, this is gonna be a rough, frustrating off season tonight, partner.
Yeah, it doesn't feel real, to be honest.
Okay, so while we do have some time here on Sports Talk, let's talk about the other game that came on tonight on TNT. It was the Rockets and Warriors. Warriors looking to close out the Rockets. We'll pick things up in the third quarter. It's already 91-64, partner. Was this pretty much a gimme game here, just to maybe send it back to Golden State and close it out? Or was
I,
this real?
I think it was a real game. I believe the Rocket starters outplayed the Golden State Warriors pretty much the whole 3 quarters. But unfortunately, Stephen Kerr, uh, bench just pretty much benched everybody with 7 minutes left, down 15 points.
Yeah,
So that was a weird one.
and we look at the highlights here from TNT Sports. They got within 13, and they were still playing hard, but a little bit of contact there with the Rockets and Warriors. You see, wow, guy, he was fighting for the rebound and he got thrown to the ground. It looks like, and a lot of the Rocket players partner weren't appreciative. That you see a punch thrown there, a little pushing
Yeah,
and shoving. Somebody said something about somebody's mama. Not sure what that one was about, but yeah, I'm not sure, partner, if that bench was very aggressive, but in the end, Houston avoids elimination for now as they win 131-116. As you mentioned, partner, Coach Kerr pulled his starters out, so I wonder if this was pretty much a gimme game, and maybe they wanted to wrap it up on their home floor though, as Game 6 is Friday in Golden State. Moody led with 25 points. Steph Curry only had 13 points. Butler only had 8 points. So very very questionable numbers there, partner. I'm wondering if this was a gimme game. This was a donut game.
yeah, it could have been, but I was watching the first half, and it seems like Rockets were just outnumbering the Warrior starters, in which the bench had a better game than the Warrior starters this game. Then I've been watching the whole series. There's been a whole physical type of series. Reminds me of the old NBA games. A lot of technicals, a lot of pushing, a lot of shoving, a lot of scrambles. So I think Friday's game is gonna be another intense game. And yeah, we'll see what happens if Warriors could clinch it at home.
And
And I believe,
Houston.
partner, so the Warriors will be playing the Minnesota Timberwolves if they win the series.
Yeah, let's get you. Let's go to the brackets real quick, partner. An update on the Western Conference brackets. We see Oklahoma City, they swept Memphis, so they're on days rest. Um,
Yeah,
Right
they've been
now,
on
the
good
Clippers
stretch.
are in a tight fight um with the Denver Nuggets. Their Game 6 matchup is tomorrow here in LA. Clippers are trying to
Let's go Clippers.
yeah. So Clippers are trying to force a Game 7 in Denver. So we'll see how that goes. Of course, we saw the Lakers
Um,
get bounced by the Timberwolves, and then
yeah, let
the
me start.
winner here of this matchup will play the winner of the Golden State Houston Rockets, which is
Yeah,
Game 6 on
I'm,
Friday.
I'm hoping the Clippers come out tomorrow strong and take this and force it to Game 7 back at Denver. and I'm hoping to be at that LA Clipper game tomorrow to support my team, and hopefully we could do that, and hopefully Kawhi and James Harden go for a big game, and we'll see how that series goes. But like you said, OKC Thunder is already resting, and they've been resting since pretty much last week. So we'll see if that would affect them in the next round. But good luck to that series, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, it's very disappointing here, and we do have a little bit of a reaction from JJ Redick. Let's listen in on him for a little bit.
Just too many turnovers, too many offensive rebounds, and I think given the struggles scoring the ball, particularly early in the series, there's a trade-off. There's always a trade-off. You can say, play a center. We couldn't score, so there's a trade-off to everything with this. But we obviously put ourselves in a position to be in the game three times in the fourth quarter, and just came up short every time. But again, the offensive part of it tonight in particular was we missed wide open threes. We missed a couple shots at the rim. We got good looks.
And we do have another comment from one of our loyal fans. Trade-off is in quote BS. I'm not going to say the word, but you guys know what we mean by that. I have to disagree with what he said, though, partner. I mean, you need a center, period. If you're getting outbounded, if you're allowing more points in the paint, then that's a problem. You don't need to score. You just need to stop them.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that, because you just pretty much said what I was gonna say out of my mouth. You said it, got it right.
I'm pretty sure the analysts are going to go deep into that statement tomorrow on their shows, especially when you wake up and you look at the papers or you look at the shows and you see that the Lakers got bounced off, especially on the East Coast. It's already 1 o'clock in the morning there, so they're not gonna know about this till a couple more hours from now. But there's a lot of things I disagree there. I mean, yeah, you always want to score on offense, but at the same time, you always want to have that post there to stop that threat, and they didn't do that. And we saw in Game 1 where they got beat by 20. So I don't know. I think he's gonna get a lot of criticisms for that part. But again, he is a rookie coach. No one thought he was gonna do this good. No one figured he was gonna be, third. And I was saying that this guy should be the rookie of the year coach or the coach of the year, because I mean,
Yep.
the way he just did, he brought this team together.
Yeah, I remember you saying that a couple episodes during our season, during the NBA. You mentioned that as well. I remember that episode.
And as we wind up our time here on Lakers Talk, before we go to our comments, we want to thank everyone that tuned in throughout the season. We hope that you guys could come back and join us in October when the season starts again, and hopefully we'll have maybe a better outcome than this one is. I know Laker fans, I feel you. This is gonna hurt for a while, but maybe in time. Let's see how free agency goes, and then we'll see about maybe having another championship year. So, but a lot of questions right now around the Lakers. Will LeBron come back? Will Luka Doncic maybe stay more? Will they bring Kevin Durant? Because there's rumors that he might come with the Lakers.
Yep. Not
Since
just
his stint in Phoenix is pretty much over because they had a bad year. They missed the playoffs.
Yeah, partner, not just Kevin Durant. There's rumors about Giannis Antetokounmpo, who had a disappointing season with the Bucks, and there's been rumors, and you can't forget about Jokic with the Nuggets. But if the Nuggets take it far in the playoffs this year, I don't think that's gonna happen. But who knows?
If they make it through the second round, they're gonna have to start talking contract extensions, though. I do want to get some more reactions from the players. Austin Reeves, he talked about his play tonight. Says, quote, I didn't have the series that I wanted to have. You can point the finger at me. I wasn't good enough to help to be successful. I wish I could have done more. I didn't. I struggled. You live, you learn, and I guarantee that I'll get back to work this offseason and be better. And he was one of the players that really struggled. Before Luka Doncic came, he was like LeBron's second man. He was putting up points, but for somewhere where he got hurt, he just wasn't the same. So now hopefully this off time will help rebuild the body. Um, Hakumura talks about losing in the first round. Says, quote, "It sucks. We definitely didn't expect to be eliminated in round one. It's kind of sad." Dorian Finney-Smith, who I think was the MVP of at least keeping the Lakers in it, he said he felt that the team's lineup was pretty good throughout the season and that the Lakers had good chances to win games this series with small, while acknowledging that Minnesota's size was impactful. And the stats do support that. Also, he went on to say about LA in his first year, says, quote, "Being here has been amazing. Make it to the 3 seed. Luka coming in February was a big surprise. Happy to be back with my dog. Just mad right now, though, that our season ended." I think everyone's going to have the same statement because, again, partner, we didn't think it was going to be over this fast. I mean, I was maybe looking to maybe a 6-7 game series from the way this was, but it just showed that the dominant team came out on the right time.
I agree, partner. You couldn't have said it any better than that because we'll see what the Lakers hold. It's going to be a disappointing week for every Laker fan. Hopefully the Clippers don't lose tomorrow and it will be more frustrating for the NBA.
Looks like we're having a little bit of an audio with your mic, partner. We're trying to get that worked on right now. Didn't hear what you said, but I know you said something about the Clippers hoping they don't lose. Speaking of that, tomorrow we will be live after the game. We'll have our post-game edition of the Clippers, and then hopefully they'll be able to extend their season. Again, they're playing tomorrow here in LA at the Intuit Dome. They're playing to force a Game 7 back on Denver this weekend. So, regardless what happens in the regardless here, they're going to have to play Oklahoma City. So, you think there'll be a disadvantage there?
It could be either or, partner, because OKC Thunder having a long period of rest, let's say more than a week and a half. If this series go to Game 7, it could be bad for them, especially that team who has a lot of rookies going into the playoffs besides Shea and Caruso. But you can't ever count them out, though. They're a dangerous young squad who are healthy and have the talent and cardio as a young squad to take it on.
And before we go, partner, just really quick, this isn't the first. I want to go back to the Warriors. This is the first time they eliminated a top-seeded team in the conference playoffs. We go back to 2006, where they came in as the 8th seed and they took out the 1-seeded Utah Jazz, the team that was supposed to win the title that season. They actually beat the Utah Jazz in 6 games, I believe. So you can't sit there and say that the lower seeds don't have a chance. They do. Golden State proved it about 25 years ago. I think they could do it again this year. So again, we'll see what happens on Friday as that series heads back to the Bay Area. Again, we'll be back here tomorrow to recap the Clippers matchup against Denver. Will there be a game 6, 7, or will it be it for LA basketball? We'll just have to wait and see. But again, partner, I appreciate your help this season with the Lakers. Unfortunately, it's come to an end. And again, Laker Nation, we want to thank you guys for a great season. You gave us a lot of things to talk about. We hope that you'll join us. You'll stay with us throughout this NBA playoffs. And then, we'll get back to We'll get back to talking Laker talks in the fall. So, partner, one more time for Laker Nation. You can go ahead and wrap it up with the famous lines we use here.
Yes, sir, partner. Thank you very much for your time and having a great season talking about Lakers basketball. And unfortunately, it fell short this season. Hopefully, they bounce back next year. But from on out, another day, another podcast.
And just really quick, folks, we do want to give a great announcement that me and partner here are working on. We have out launched, or we're actually in construction right now. We're actually going to be out launching a new YouTube channel for you Ram fans. And partner, do you want to discuss a little bit about that YouTube page?
Yeah, partner. So we're gonna start a YouTube page soon. It's still under construction, but we're gonna talk pure Rams football, Rams 24/7 about every news, injuries, from breaking news and all, especially with views, of course. We're gonna have the link in our bio. Make sure to go subscribe and like the channel. And we will talk overall all football, but mostly we'll be talking about the Rams
Yes,
nation.
and make sure you follow us on YouTube, as we will test it to see how it goes, and then we'll go from there. But again, follow us on our new YouTube channel. The information will be here on the podcast. And as we get set for a new NFL season, we'll also on that channel we'll also recap the draft and the goods and bads and what the Rams need to do to win a Super Bowl. But again, Laker Nation, thank you guys for a great season. Once again, the final score 103-96. Lakers losing 5 out of the playoffs. Season's over, and then now the off season begins again. For Jesus and myself, thank you guys for a great season. We love you. We wish you nothing but the best, and stay with us here on Sports Talk. Good night, everybody.